Hi.
What is it that you want now?
Well, you know, the usual trappings. Health, wealth, and live in New York City.
Pick some subject that you would like us to help you walk up the emotional scale. We'd like to play a game with you.
Okay.
Where you say something that feels like what is, and we're guessing, although it may not be accurate, that you're going to be forking toward what you don't want as you offer these initial statements. So you fork and we'll fork, and you fork and we'll fork, and you fork and we'll fork, until you get the forking technique that we're talking about. So make a statement and we'll fork it.
About
anything, and best those things that come up that make you frustrated. Those things.
I don't know what to do with my life.
Too big.
Too big.
And it is so big that it's not effective. In other words, because those aren't the things that are frustrating you. The things that are frustrating you are just the day-to-day responses to life. Oh, maybe you're not frustrated. Maybe it's bigger than frustration. You tell us. Just give us some things that you're frustrated about, and we'll be able to feel if it's as deep as it goes or if it goes deeper.
Money. Lack of money.
So you think those are the subjects around which most of your frustration flows?
Yeah.
All right, so make a statement about any of that then. In other words, what you're doing is you're just having a moment in time where something about that is occurring to you, and you're expressing where you are about it. And we know it's not in all that good a place, because if it were, you would be rolling in money.
Right.
So just make some statement, some beginning statement. This is the thing we want you to realize. You are wherever you are, and wherever you are is the only place that you can be. And so we don't want you to pretend like it's so hard to explain where you are, because you're talking about it, feeling it all day, every day. You might not want to express it in front of everyone, but it's not hard to make a statement about how I feel about where I am on any subject in the world. In other words, government, annoying. Government, inept. Taxes, unfair. Women. Well, we'll leave that. Abraham, annoying. Money, not enough.
Not enough.
Money, hard to find. Occupation, unsatisfying. What I really want to do, hard to figure out. In other words, you have an immediate, visceral, emotional, vibrational comeback to every single thing. So you watch television, or you read a magazine, or you read a newspaper, or you visit with a friend, and all day, every day, things are coming up to which you are having vibrational responses. And what we're wanting to show you is that you can, with small effort, train your vibrational responses into a different place, where when the word government comes up, you say, don't care. Government, irrelevant. Government, none of my business. Government doesn't affect me. Government, and then it's a non-issue. And when it's a non-issue, then you can soar no matter what government is doing, you see. Money, plenty of it. Money, not important. Money, out of the equation. Money, got all I have any sensible use for. Money, love it. Money, got it. Money. In other words, you can just train yourself into this place where a name comes up of someone that you remember from the past. Barney, hate him. And Barney treated me bad. And then you can train yourself into a different place so that when the name Barney comes up, you say, irrelevant. Barney. Barney who? Barney, don't think about Barney. Or Barney, love Barney. In other words, you can train yourself differently on every single subject. And the thing that we want you to come to understand is, the more you train yourself into a better feeling place, the more the whole world will treat you better, because you'll have less things that you're ducking from, less things that you're having to avoid, less things that you're having knee-jerk responses to. You'll finally be in charge of your own vibration, you see. So, you give us a word, we'll help you fork, or a subject, or a situation.
I've really hit them all. Money.
All right, money.
Work.
Money. So money. So how does money feel to you? When you say money, how does it feel? Hard to find?
Yeah, not enough. Not
money,
enough.
Not enough. So there you are. Money, not enough. I have more than some. I have a lot more than some. I have more than I've had. Money comes and goes. I really don't need a big pile of money. I just want it in and out, in and out, in and out. I'd like money to be a non-issue. I'd like all the money that I can possibly spend. I'd like an infinite flow of money. Now, we're talking about what I'd like, not what is. And did you feel how easily that shifted? I'm looking forward to more money. I don't know how or where or when it will come, but I'm looking forward to more money. I suppose there are people who right now have a lot of money, who at one time were standing where I am, or much worse. So things can easily change relative to money. And I'm looking forward to that steady change. And I'll get the hang of this. And I've picked a subject that's a pretty big one. I've picked a subject that I focused upon a lot, so I shouldn't expect my vibration to change instantaneously. Now, that much conversation has shifted slightly. Do you feel any relief from it?
Yeah.
That's all the work is. In other words, it's just soft conversation that leaves you feeling a little better at the end of 2 or 3 minutes than you were at the beginning. Have you ever known anyone, or maybe even yourself, that you could get riled up about something pretty good? Mm-hmm. Let's do that. Let's practice that forking technique. Give us a subject. Government.
Okay.
Our government is bogus. Our government makes promises it can't possibly keep. Our government promises things that it doesn't know if it can keep or not just to get our votes. Our government is not really interested in us. Our government is interested in its own self-perpetuation. I remember one time that I read an article that you could not be ethical and be in government. I remember reading a study about that politicians can never really be true to anything because they have to serve so many purposes at the same time. So they can't really hold their own personal opinion and get elected. So they pretend that their personal opinion is different than it is, depending on who they're talking to, just in order to get voted. Now, did we get anything moving there? In other words, if we stayed there long enough, we could start a riot. In other words, if we fixated long enough there, we could bring you to feeling enough disempowerment that you would have a knee-jerk response of anger just to try to get some of your own power back. You can talk yourself into feeling bad or into feeling good, and it all is starting from where you are. And on some subjects, you're already leaning to not feeling good because you've been practicing for a while. On some subjects, especially the subject of dollars, you inherited it from those who had a very strong feeling about it at the time that you were born into their midst. In other words, some of these visceral, vibrational attitudes you developed before you could even speak language. When you wanted something from your mother and she did not believe that she had the ability to provide it for you, she offered a vibration to you regardless of what words she offered you. Whether she gave you the money that you were asking for or didn't give you the money that you were asking for, she offered a vibration about the way she felt about money, and you picked up that vibration. So you've got a lot of vibrations going on within you that the only way of improving them is taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, and deliberately forking them into a different place, gently and gradually and steadily, because your vibration is right where you last left it on every subject. So you can't just be living in a situation and read a book that says you create your own reality and that when you ask it is given, and all of a sudden in one fell swoop leave behind all of that vibrational leaning that you've been picking up over a period of a lifetime. In other words, it's not logical that all of a sudden you would just see things differently. You're not going to all of a sudden just see things differently. But the reason that we're talking to you about your emotional guidance system is because we want you to feel your way into the thought rather than think your way into the feeling. And can you feel the difference? When you care about how you feel, it will cause you to reach for the thoughts that are closing the gap. When you just think a thought and then have a visceral response to the thought that you're thinking, now it could go any way. But when you care about how you feel and you are deliberately reaching for better feeling thoughts, now you begin closing the gap on every subject.
Abraham, can you bring us back up the trail on the government issue? You left us kind of dangling out there.
No, that's where you all belong. Well, where we want you to get on the government issue or on any issue is to a place of government inconsequential. That or any issue. Money inconsequential. So where do we leave you in government? Cynical, self-serving beings that they are, which is what we're encouraging in every one of you. Government is not capable of or responsible to the well-being that flows to me. Government is not the vortex through which my well-being flows. Government is well-meaning as individuals who are participating within it. There may very well be infinite number of nurturers and people who intended to be uplifters of the whole who sort of got caught in the melees called government. There are hundreds of thousands of very well-intentioned people who work in government agencies who are utilizing it as a means for their own occupation and enjoying the work that they are doing as they are interacting with the public. Government in and of itself is not a conglomerate. Government is a myriad of individual consciousnesses, and not fair for me to put them all in one basket and call them by one name and feel one way about them. They are as individual as any crowd of people that I meet. The concept of government in and of itself is a good one because it is a collective consciousness that is offering a vibration, and law of attraction is responding to the dominance of the vibration. So I suppose it would be accurate to say that government is really a body that is formed from the mass consciousness of the public. And so, in reality, no matter how the voting system comes down, mass consciousness must always get the government that it deserves, because it is not possible that anything is outside law of attraction. So, if there is something about government that I don't like, it must be that it is inherent within the mass consciousness. And mass consciousness does not equal me. I equal one small part of mass consciousness. The universe is responding to my vibration, not my vibration as it responds to mass consciousness. So I can separate myself from any body of anything. The government or the people of this nation or the people of the world, the vibration of the universe could be leaning in a direction that is different from the direction I want to go. And I have the ability to line up my energy with my desires, and I would stand apart from the trends. It is possible to be a well person in a sea of sickness, just like as it is possible to be a prosperous person in a sea of poverty, just like it is possible to be a person of clarity in a sea of confusion. I love the idea of government in the sense that it can organize and process activities in a way that can be beneficial for those who are not in the place yet of knowing their own autonomy and their own self-survival. I love the idea that there are always those to help those that don't know yet that they can help themselves. And I like to see government as part of that agency, an entity that is well-meaning at its core, and while sometimes confused, does provide much more good than it does bad. Mostly, I like knowing that government has really very little to do with me, even though it might be part of my occupation, even though government might be the one who writes my paycheck. Government as a whole is nothing to me. My thoughts individually, moment by moment, are what equal my point of attraction. And I like cleaning up my thoughts about government, just like I like cleaning up my thoughts about God, just like I like cleaning up my thoughts about my body, just like I like cleaning my thoughts up about my children, just like I like cleaning up my thoughts about my mate, just like I like cleaning up my thoughts about everything in life. I like looking at life through the eyes of Source. I wonder how Source sees government. Source sees government as a conglomerate of, for the most part, well-meaning people who, to the degree that they are paying attention to the way they feel, are in alignment with Source and are benefiting because of that alignment. Better?